I go by Kiddo. That's not really my name, it's just a nickname. I'm 16, and my sexual orientation, I identify as homosexual.
I'm Elizabeth, I'm 17, and I'm pansexual.
My name is Eileen. I am 18 years old, and I identify as a bisexual.
So I thought I was bi at first because I was like, oh my god, both these people are really attractive in 4th grade for some reason. And then I realized, oh, okay, no, I really like the guy more, and I'd rather be with the guy than the girl. And that's just how it's been since.
So for a long time I thought I was straight until I came out as trans, and then I thought I was a lesbian for a while. But after a while I noticed that I was attracted to a trans guy friend of mine. And then I started realizing I was attracted to men as well and to non-binary people. So it was just a gradual process over time of it evolving.
I've always questioned it because when I was like 10, I had like a sleepover with one of my friends, and she was actually my first kiss. And after that, like, I always grew up in a household where my parents weren't okay with homosexuality or like liking people of the same sex. So I always I always thought like I was straight until recently I figured out that I am also interested in people of the same sex of me.
In the beginning, I didn't feel like they would accept me because, we had our religious beliefs and such. So my first close pair of friends did kind of abandon me due to the way I felt about other guys. But then I moved around a lot and I learned to, find the right group of people. So
I've always felt that they would accept me because, like I said, I've always been in part of the LGBT community as an ally. So everyone I knew was a potential ally and was cool with it.
I feel like my friends would. My family, yes, most of them, except my parents because they're so against it. But, I haven't came out to them yet. Well, my parents, they both grew up in Mexico, so and they grew up in like ranches, so they grew up to believe like everything that was said in the Bible, and they grew up in like a Catholic household. So they necessarily never had they can't necessarily say that they had thoughts of themselves. Like they didn't think for themselves. Their parents actually enforced it on them to believe a certain way because that's how they were taught. And now they're here in America where they can tell everything's so much more different. We get to think for ourselves. And I grew up here, so I grew up out of their beliefs, and I was like, you know what, I don't agree with you guys saying homosexuality is wrong. It's it's not up to you to decide who one likes, it's up to them. So I just grew out of their beliefs, but they're still straight on head, strong about that. But I try to influence them to be more open about it and to be accepting of other people.
Coming out, probably at the time there was a lot. I was living in Texas, so at the time it was fearful because at the time there was a lot of kids being bullied to death sometimes, or even kicked out of school or beat up. So where I was raised, you're not really allowed to be different, or else bad things would actually happen to you.
My biggest fear was honestly that my sister would say I was doing it to copy her. Because she thinks I've done a lot of things to copy her, and so it was fear of her invalidating it because of that.
My biggest fear is them either being disappointed in me or not accepting me as their child anymore. Or my bond with my parents being broken just by that. I wouldn't want that. Well, me and my mom, we talk about everything, and but there's just certain things I can't discuss with her because she doesn't agree with me. So it's kind of difficult to still say we have a strong bond because I can't necessarily be open about her and about myself entirely to her because of her beliefs. And me and my dad, he's more accepting, but I haven't had the courage to tell him, because I know if I tell him, he'll tell my mom, and like I'd rather do it openly to everyone.
Only come out if you feel ready and if you feel safe enough. Don't do it in a rush. If you do it in a rush, your outcomes might not be as great as it should be if you plan it out.
If it's a matter of safety of being in the closet, then make sure that you are doing whatever is safest first. And if you are concerned about your safety, talk to your school's GSA about potentially creating an escape plan if you really feel you need to come out in an unsafe environment. If it is safe for you to come out, then I highly recommend just doing it to your close friends first.
Don't be afraid of who you are or what you like. Even if everyone else around you doesn't agree with it, it's your life and you live it how you want to live it. And I recommend you to be happy all the time and accept yourself. Even if those don't accept you, it doesn't matter. It's all about you.